Welcome to the Art of VIII Podcast. I'm your host, Janicka Arthur, and I am here with our special guest, Miss Arantxa. Arantxa, say hello to the Art of VIII Podcast.
Hi, Art of VIII Podcast.
I love it. Can you please share with us, Arantxa, who you are? Give us your name, your age. You told us. I want to know what it is that you do, and I want to know, when did you start dancing?
So I'm Arantxa. I'm 30 years old. Okay. Professionally, I am a pediatric occupational therapist.
Dance.
It's a whole thing. And then I start dancing last year.
What made you start dancing?
So, I mean, I'm like a pediatric occupational therapist. So when I tell parents, they always ask, like, what else can we do other than therapy? One of the things I always recommend is, like, join sports, join dance, join gymnastics. And saying all the things of why is that beneficial for your child for kind of just living life or at school. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, that also benefits just everybody. And, I did all like the workout classes and stuff. I'm like, this is boring. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I watched this Korean TV show where these like famous people decided to do an adult ballet class, and they ended up doing things on the Nutcracker. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, why didn't I think of that? So I looked up an adult ballet class. I was like, am I too old for this? Your page popped up, and I was like, that sounds kind of cool. Legit waited an entire year.
Wait a minute. So from you doing your own research, telling all the people, do dance, do sports, do this, that, and the other, you sat at home for another 365 days before pulling the trigger.
I sure did.
Why?
At the time where I actually signed up for your class, there was a lot of changes, so I got a new job. I moved out of my parents' house and got my own place.
Okay.
And I said, well, that's not that far. I could do things now. I'm an adult.
Yes.
And so then that was one of the things I pulled the trigger and decided to do.
Love it. So when you first come into class, like, I'm interested in knowing your thoughts about the benefits of dance prior to attending.
Okay.
Like, tell me about the transition. If there was a transition mentally, an understanding, an awakening of sorts, give me all of the things.
Okay. So kind of just going into class thinking, and before I entered the class, I looked up all, like, the ballet videos online. And I was like, wow, they're so beautiful. But what amazed me, because, like, I look at movement, is the amount of control it takes, like, to do, like, the higher level dancing. And I was like, if I could get, like, 1% of that, my life would be so much better.
That's what you said to yourself.
Yeah, I was like, that's amazing, that's beautiful and stuff, but just the amount of control that you can have, just the muscle control alone, let alone the flexibilities, like the fountain of youth, like the energy it takes to go through all the dances, just even the memory to know all the combinations or the choreography. Right. Any little thing that we can get from that, I'm like, oh, that just translates to everything else, because there is this thing called like the transfer of knowledge, or there's a specific phrase for it, but kind of learning one thing, but those skills translate to the rest of your life. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe I won't feel as tired when I'm at work, or I do a lot of moving, so I'm like always on the floor or on my knees, or like lifting kids from the bed to the chair and things like that. I'm like, oh, any physical benefit would be really nice. So that was my thinking. It's like, oh my gosh, this is scary, but we could just go through our 8 weeks and see what it does.
Got it. So you come to class for the first day.
Yes.
What was that experience like?
Well, I got lost.
Okay.
I got lost. And yeah, I was really scared, but then like everybody had the same face as I did. And also kind of in like my own personal journey of, you know, it's not all about me in a sense of, yes, I'm important, but nobody's thinking about me. Nobody's looking at me because everybody's thinking about themselves and how self-conscious they are. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, no, I just have to try my best, whatever it is. I mean, I looked it up, so it's like, okay, I know pliés are going to happen, which is kind of like a squat.
Yeah, kind of, but not so much.
Not really, but kind of. That was my assumption.
Okay.
You know, one of the big things that I was looking forward to is fixing my posture. So, like, learning how to stand all the way up, nice and straight.
You better give us position.
Yeah. Like that. Uh-huh. I get it at work now. They're like, wow, your sitting position's real nice. Ooh. I was like, thanks. Thanks. I've been working on it. Yeah. Yeah, and so we were just going in head first.
Going in head first.
Yep.
I want to know, let's be clear, y'all. Arantxa came in saying, okay, we're just going to go through these 8 weeks, because those are your words, not mine. She said, I'm going to just do this 8 weeks. Arantxa has now become a member, a Thrive member, which means you can do as many dance classes as you want to. Like, you are showing up multiple times a week. Talk to me about that transition. From going from one class that meets only once for 8 weeks to being like, I want to be here all the time now, or I want to at least invest in myself to be able to take as many classes and as many styles as I want to.
So,
yeah,
that also took a little bit of a time of like, oh, that thought popped into my head, and it took months to like just jump in and do it. And what really made me jump in was the showcase that we have.
Come on, let's talk about it. Ooh, showcase.
Yeah.
Our first inaugural showcase is called Rebirth of the Phoenix. Come on, shameless plug. If you are in the DFW area or you want to take a flight, please come visit us. We're having a performance on October 12th at the Eisman Theater. It's our first inaugural performance, and you are part of history. Do you understand that?
Yes, that's why I said yes.
That's why you said yes.
I was like, okay, I don't know if this is a good idea. But I went to the meeting, and you said it was like the first ever. Yes. And I was like, oh, it's the first ever. That means I have to do it. At least, like, be in the picture or something. And then I was like, okay, I will do it. And then I always wanted to take tap anyway. So I think before you announced it, I was already in tap. But I joined the Thrive membership because I didn't want to look stupid on stage.
Oh, so this was a strategy. You was like, oh, I need some practice if I'm going to be on stage.
Hence, I'm here all the time.
Got it. Do you feel more comfortable?
Yeah, of course.
How do you feel physically, mentally, emotionally? Is it, talk
to
me about that.
Performing or just in general?
Both.
Okay. Performing-wise, yes, I feel a lot more comfortable because I think I get the benefits of all the different classes with all the different parts going like all around me. Okay. But I'm like, okay, it sounds like I'm the consistent person that everybody takes a cue from. So it's actually nice to know that I can also get a cue from them. Like, I still know what's going on for the rest of the dance.
No, you're like my timekeeper. You know exactly. You're like, Janicka, they come on 1:21.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah. So as far as like that and the repetition, like over and over again, that was the thing I was scared of, is like, how do I remember everything? Mm-hmm. But you know, once you start dancing and you practice, it just becomes muscle memory of like, oh yeah, that's the part that I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So for the performance, I feel a lot more comfortable. Like, you know, I did a lot of work for it. I just need to keep practicing, get it out of my head, and just do what I always did in class. In general, I don't know, I'm quite proud of what I do now. It's kind of like I guess it's a hobby, but it's like honestly has taken over my life. It's like I go to work and then I go to dance class.
Is that a good thing or a bad
It's a good thing.
Okay.
It's a good thing. Because dancing is a good thing in general.
Right.
For all the things why I enjoy it. So, like, it's something I look forward to, but also it's when you're focusing so hard in class, I forget about everything else that I want to forget. Because work is kind of hard. I work in the hospital, so I see the sickest kids. So
you're able to like step away from life for
separation.
A little bit of time.
Yeah, you said it in class. It's like, you create a fantasy on stage and you don't want the fantasy to end.
Right.
So you keep going even though you're not on stage anymore. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like when you're in class, I create that bubble of, whatever's going on outside doesn't matter. We're dancing right now.
We're dancing.
Yeah.
That's so deep to me. I'm interested in knowing, like, having this conversation with you. That is one of those things that pops into my head. I'm like, there is a expectation that we put on ourselves just as dancers in the studio, right? And then there are expectations that we put on ourselves going on to stage.
Yeah.
What's the different expectations for you? Do you have any?
No, I don't think I have. I've never made a difference between stage and class.
You better say that, Arantxa. You're like, honey, I'm a performer anyway, regardless of where I am.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like I'm always trying to do the best that I can, no matter what I'm doing.
Love that.
Whether it's on stage or just in class. Because, my goal, now that I'm like, I dived in deep, is just to get as good as I can be. And understanding like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Like, I don't tend to look back, but then when I do, I'm like, oh, wow. I can get my leg up this high. When did that happen?
Yes. What did you have any goals at all initially? And then like, what are your goals now?
I had no goals going in other than let's finish.
Finish the 8 weeks.
Let's finish. Yeah. Finish the 8 weeks. And then we signed up for another, I think it was the 4 weeks because it was like Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And then another 8 weeks.
Yep. And then another 8 weeks and I just kept going. So coming in, I didn't have any expectations, or I don't remember having that other than, oh, we're just going to commit and finish. Now, as far as like my goal as a dancer, I haven't really thought about it, but as from like a physical sense, my goal is to keep dancing with less pain. Because that's what I realized is, like, the more I work, obviously, I'm putting my body through a lot of stuff. And so, learning how to take care of my body, but still put as, like, the 100% effort that I can do for every class. Yeah, maybe in a splits, too. I was so close, and then I stopped stretching.
Look, really? You stopped stretching?
Or not like stop stretching, but like I wasn't as consistent as I was before when it was more painful back then.
Got it.
To be like in elevate, to do like a développé.
Yes.
Like those used to hurt a lot. Now it's like, oh no, I know this hurts, but we have to hold it. Yeah, and it's like more tolerable, I guess.
Well, talk to me about the things that you are currently still working on in class. What challenges do you have in front of you, and how can you translate how those challenges impact you outside of class?
Like, I would say in class, I think this is something I've gotten better at, but like to keep on going on, even though I mess up the combo. It's like, oh, where do I jump back in? So instead of just letting the combo run because, I just stopped and gave up, it's like, how do I find my place and then just keep going? And in that same sense, it's, you messed up, but that doesn't mean it was bad. That doesn't mean like it was the worst thing because, if you make a mistake, that's an opportunity to improve rather than if you're perfect all the time, then it's like, well, then where else do you go? So mentally, I got that a lot from class, and that's still something as I get better, and I guess combos get harder. Physically, I guess not when I started, but something I wanted to do was turns, and I know I've had difficulty with turns because I get dizzy and have motion sickness, and but we're working on all the foundations separate from the turn itself of like spinning and getting dizzy. So then one of the things I'm working on is staying our balance and elevate, and I think that's where I get a lot of my pain from physically, just because then my posterior chain gets really tight. So if I don't stretch, then I'm tight, and then in the morning I'm like, ugh, it hurts.
You feeling all of 30.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm feeling 30. I don't look 30, but I am.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where we are.
I love that. So when it comes to dance, would you say that it has assisted you at all outside of class, other than just being able to like tune out the noise of the world? Are you dancing differently in life than you are or you were before? I'm just interested in your perspective on that.
Am I dancing? I mean, honestly, I do. We do bar stuff for my patients sometimes.
Oh, wait a minute. What? Yeah. You're giving them some ballet combinations?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, a big thing that I work with, so I'll like work with a lot of brain injury patients, a lot of like surgery on the brain, those kinds of kids, and they have like movement disorders, and they end up getting movement disorders. What I find, especially something like Tom Liet's, like that weight shift back and forth, and it's supposed to be smooth and connected. It's actually really beneficial for like pre-walking, because then you're learning weight transfer. You're learning, I mean, that's the biggest thing is weight transfer and learning like right and left and moving back and forth side to side. I guess I've used like in the most literal sense, that's what's benefited me is another kind of treatment that I've used for work. In general, yeah, I think learning to be forgiving for myself. I think that's a big one that I already knew about myself that was highlighted when I started dancing. Because I think dancing is actually one of the hardest things I've ever done. Like physically and mentally.
Why is that?
Well, because I'm awkward.
Come on, awkward. Talk about that. What do you mean by awkward?
I don't know. Like, I've always been, like, self-conscious. I guess growing up, like, yes, I was an athlete growing up. I was a musician growing up. I did school stuff, which, when I think about it, it has all the elements, but it's translated different through dance because you utilize your body as the art rather than you make something as the art, or whatever you do is you achieve something, like in a sport, like you win something, but the product of dance is your body is the art. And I've always been like, no, I could do everything. Here it is. I'm going to be away from it.
Right. Here is the thing.
Here is the thing.
I'm over here, though.
Yes. Here's the thing. You know, I'm over here. But with dance, it's like, no, I am the thing that creates.
I am the masterpiece.
Right. Which is very uncomfortable when, you know, you always try to separate yourself from the product that you create. So then I've always been a perfectionist and like highly anxious and like very critical. So then coming to something that's super hard, it's like, oh no, it's okay to mess up. It's okay to, it's okay to try again. Like on stage, I know I've never been on stage like that. So.
Girl, you create a solo if you mess up, okay? There's a whole ensemble.
Okay, so then I won't mess up. Everybody else don't mess up because I'm not going to be a solo.
Right. You don't want to be the solo in the center?
No.
That is
But you put me right in the middle. And I was like,
did.
Oh my gosh.
I did. Arantxa's going to be right there, dead center, like at the points of a V, y'all. She's going to be right there. Make sure you do that.
To know where center stage
You got to
is.
know where center is. Please don't have that be on the quarter stage. Don't do that. Please and thank you.
Okay, I'll try my best.
That's hilarious. But
we need to put tape there.
We will, just for you. And I'm going to tell you where exactly in the studio you need to be.
Okay.
Wait, well, not the studio, yes, but on stage, I'm going to be like, Arantxa! I'll tell you all the things. Yes. Yeah. I love that, though. Like, I have never heard anyone articulate it like that, to be like, okay, now I'm like the masterpiece. Like, I am now the thing that's being presented. And not only are you being presented to yourself, right, but now you're being presented to the audience because you are taking that venture to go on stage. Yeah. That's major. Do you have people coming to the show?
I told people about it, and they were like, do you want us to come? I'm like, no.
Why don't you want them to come?
Because I'm on stage.
Oh, you have to make this a thing, Arantxa. This is important.
Yeah, I know.
They got to be in attendance.
I guess I'll ask them again.
Yeah, not even yet. You didn't ask them, but the first one you told them. So now you have to ask them to join.
Okay.
I want to meet them in person on that day. No. Okay, so I'm gonna be like, Arantxa, where are your people?
Oh my gosh, I will say I did tell a lot of people, like not as like a please come, but like I'm doing this thing and it's October 12th and you're like, oh my gosh, we need to look. Oh man, I'm busy. I was like, thank God you're busy.
That is hilarious.
Enjoy your trip.
That is too funny.
So here we are.
Here we are. Arantxa, share with the people. This is one of the last questions I have for you here. Share with the people if there was someone who is also 30 years of age or who's an adult and they are searching for dance classes because they're looking for something different because they don't want to be in the gym or run outside or whatever the case may be, but they are sitting within their 365 days because they haven't actually signed up. What would you tell them, and why why would you tell them it's important to come to dance class at this stage of their life?
I think it's, well, if we start by looking at what's going to help us physically, which you can get anywhere. Like, you could get healthy anywhere. But I think when you come into the studio and you learn this, like, this beautiful art that takes, like, so much effort, like, really takes all of you for you to do well or as best as you can. If that's what you're looking for to be better, physically, to understand yourself in like what struggle feels like physically, because everything hurts, but you have to keep smiling. Like, you just come to dance class and you keep smiling, even though it's hard. And
don't we do that? We do that in life, don't we? Like,
yeah,
we keep showing up.
You just keep going. It's like the best of today. And I think if you're 30 and you feel like you need a little purpose in your life, even if it's just, we're just going to keep smiling when it's hard. I think dance class is the studio is a very safe space to practice that, because the world isn't always that forgiving. But in the studio, you just try again.
I love that. Thank you, Arantxa.
You're welcome.
Before we leave, I want to tell everybody, if you liked today's conversation, I want you to go ahead and click that bell, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to hear the questions that Arantxa is about to ask me, you want to go ahead and subscribe to our Patreon page so you can get all the deets. We are so thankful that you joined us on today, and we will see you on the next episode. Have a fantastic day.